Hi there, my name's TechDave, and today we're discussing my lovely desk setup featuring my eGPU, my T480, all my peripherals, and celebrating the passing of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm very pleased about this. Thank you so much for anyone that's liked, subscribed, shared and watched the videos in the past. Expect more content from me in the future. We're going to dive into my setup and what we're doing, so let's dive right on in. So before we jump into the main body of the video, I just wanted to say sincerely thank you for all of the people that subscribed. We're on 1,150 we just passed today. Last couple of videos bombed out. Obviously they didn't hit home. That's fine. I don't really mind. I'm not in this for the money. I'm not in it for the monetization. But for all my continued viewers and ongoing new viewers, old, I'm just thankful that I managed to get here. And yeah, today we're going to sort of discuss a video. This is basically a video made for myself. I just want to discuss, like, primarily why I use eGPUs. It's going to feature the T480 and a variety of different setups and use cases where that might be useful, and show some examples of performance and stuff. And then also I wanted to show you an alternative in the form of Shadow PC or Shadow Tech PC, so we'll look at that as well, because I've been experimenting with cloud services. So currently I've got the Shadow Drive, which is accompanying the Shadow Tech PC VM online sort of thing there as well. Then I've got my eGPU, then I've got multiple setups. So we're going to look into that and discuss how with the combination of Google Drive, OneDrive, Shadow's Drive, Shadow, eGPU, laptop, 4G connection, 5G on the phone you're watching this on, we can basically create a seamless workflow that means that when well implemented, you can basically do anything you would ever need to do in near enough any situation. So let's look at that. So I previously was talking about this setup, which we're going to come back to, but I thought I'd show you around my room and studio at the moment. So here, I'm preparing for a video about the X230. So I'm going to do a reboot of my most watched video, which is on 18k views, which is like 3 years old, where I use exclusively the Lenovo ThinkPad X230. This is just the template at the moment, but I'm going to make this into a Badman setup, similar to this, but over here, there's a GTX 970 in there ready to go as the eGPU. And I'm just going with a super minimal, ultra budget setup over here. So that's in the works. There's my bass amp. This area is just used as storage at the moment, but this will be for bass and guitar performance, because I'm going to start filming from roughly, that angle, some bass solos. That should be quite nice. I've got another channel, which is at @drb_bass on YouTube if you want to search it. We'll be coming to this angle in a bit to look at using the T480 on its own, and then what the downsides and limitations are, so we'll get to that. Then I've got my library, which has got like an esoteric section, classic fiction, non-fiction, and music stuff, and blah, 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 blah. This is slowly becoming a mural wall. We got this beautiful thing made by my sister, which is about my family, so that's nice. And my studios, I've got my guitar wall, my busking amp where I'll be soloing. And then we've made, so all these peripherals are for either the Steam Link to connect to various PCs in the house, or my X1 Carbon 4th gen, which I also use Shadow on. Then we've got Xbox One OG Crystal, custom modified with a 220GB hard drive, Xbox 360, Xbox One S, PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, GameCube, yes, gangster, Wii U and Switch. And then we've got this 43-inch TV that I used to use for video editing, but is now the home PC. We've got the radio, always tuned to Classic FM. These speakers aren't wired in, but they will be eventually. That's peripheral storage for now, but I will have all my games. This is a large quantity This is probably about 30% of all my games, and then we've got just like drives and storage for various crap at the moment. But these are all my drives and RAM and everything, and custom TechDave stickers for my laptop, which I should have put on there, which I haven't. I've got DS and Game Boy SP as well. So yeah, that's my games collection. Sorry about the shaky camera work. We've got my arcade stick. We've got up here this little diorama I made, which is very complex to explain, so I shan't explain any further. And then, yeah, so I just thought I'd give you a brief overview of my studio. And yeah, it's just kind of, a lot of things have gone on the back burner, and I've changed strategies, because some of you, my previous viewers may notice, this was previously just a music studio. And I haven't abandoned music, but I've just kind of tried to make better use of the space. So I'll be back once I thought what the point of what I was going to say was, but that's just a little studio overview. And then this will be the main setup that we'll be working on shortly, featuring the RX 6600 8GB and the T480 just visible there. All my lights fell down, so I'm going to redo them for later in the video so you can see what it's supposed to look like. Bit of cable management, but there's the T480 filing cabinet. I've got some vitamins and minerals, coffee. Delightful incense. This is yin yang. It just smells amazing. This is my grade 8 and my degree. So let's get on with the main body of the video. I just sort of wanted to show you the studio for my own enjoyment. So I'll be right back. So you can see I've got the T480 here. It's a standalone device. It's reasonably powerful, 16 gigs of RAM. We've got a 8th gen i7 with 4 cores, 8 threads at 1.82. Let me just double check. I think it's 4 gigahertz turbo, and it's a reasonably powerful device. Yeah, so 1.99 gigahertz base clock. One socket, 4 cores, 8 threads. It turbos up to about 4, but I rarely see it sustain that. But what I do see is around 2.4 on a regular basis. I'm running Windows 11. It's a lush trackpad, a nice little glass feel trackpad. Runs Windows 11 like a beast. I've tried it on Windows 10. I've run it on Pop OS. Pop OS didn't really work because I was trying to get functioning eGPU, which just proved to be deeply frustrating. What was I saying? Damn, schizophrenic brain. Yeah, basically it works lovely as a standalone device. It's reasonably powerful. It can go. This version doesn't have the V Pro CPU, meaning I did a glorious little Windows 10 shiny sticker there. It doesn't have the V Pro CPU, which is the sort of bulk management, remote management interface for companies and stuff. So it means that this one works with 64 gigs of RAM. So there should be quite a lot of mileage in it. If that U series i7 manages to keep up for the time being, there's a lot of potential to it. Now, standalone, you can't video edit, you can't really game without cloud services, but it's got such a nice keyboard. It's got the Think shutter. I believe it's 2016, but I'll put somewhere on the screen what the release year was for it. But we're on 13th gen now, I believe, nearly 14th gen Intel series, i-series CPUs. But it's got like a hella decent battery life. And with Windows 11, they've actually added some pretty nice little functionality for. Where's battery? Let's have a look. What am I looking for? Battery. I'm still getting used to the functions of it, but you get best power efficiency, and then it has an auto feature that you can just tick all these things to make it go down to optimize energy efficiency, which you can't really see, but I apologize for that. But one thing that I've been using a lot recently, which I sort of featured in my last video, is Shadow, which I do have installed here. So let me just switch to a different camera angle and we'll show you a bit more about Shadow. So, as you can see, So this is actually quite a legit use case for me. I'm using the MX Master 2S, just as my mouse, which I got recently. By the way, this mouse, absolutely gorgeous. Look at that brushed matte finish plastic, and then rubberized stuff, and the brushed aluminium, and it connects wirelessly wired to like 3 or 4 devices, and it's just really nice. I tell you what, this has been a game changer for video editing, because you've got different variable rate scroll, the forward and back, and you've also got horizontal scroll on this thumb wheel, so you can move the timeline along. Oh my god, I'll discuss that later. This was bought specifically to treat myself, but the focus right now is shadow. So as you can see, we're not plugged into any power source. We're just on the standalone battery. And then I'm going to do 2 things. One, I'm going to load into my shadow. I'll show you how long that takes. So we're on Wi-Fi at the moment. Now I've got gigabit, hold on. Password time, there's my schedule and a little thingy that I wrote up as a little promise to myself for what I was going to do. Sorry to keep you waiting. There we go, logging in. So on Shadow we've got a full 1080p, hold on, a GTX 1080 is what I meant to say. So you can see the specs of the Shadow machine. You've got Intel Xeon CPU, ES2678 version 3 at 2.5 gigahertz, 8 threads, so 4 cores, 8 threads, sort of performance, 8 threads performance. 12 gigs of DDR4 2400 megahertz. You get a 512 gig SSD. It's gigabit connection, but it's a 10 gigabit wired connection, but you get a gigabit bandwidth allocated, and 8 gigs of VRAM with a max of 6 gigs shared on a GeForce GTX 1080, and that is for £30 a month. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I use an eGPU, and you can use this for editing so for example, I've installed Minecraft, Steam, and you saw my games briefly pop up there, and DaVinci Resolve. So the X1 Carbon video I did, which was an hour long, I managed to remote edit and render that beautifully, just on the X1 Carbon, which I was quite pleased about. And you can see it's getting slight latency delay, but that's because I've got that on there. There we go, that should help. And yeah, so it basically replaces the need to have a full desktop. And I'm just mentioning it because it actually really suits my workflow. It's like untethered, I've got an eGPU, level quality of performance out of it, basically. Hold on, let me clarify my thoughts and be back. So, what I was trying to say is there's only integrated graphics on this laptop. It's the Intel 620, I believe. And as you can see, just still over this menu here, I auto-detect the bandwidth settings. I'm not even using my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi, the card in the T480 is maxed out at like 866 megabits per second. I've got gigabit fiber. But as you can see, I'm actually on a cellular connection with 4 bars, and we're still getting pretty decent performance from Shadow. It's working exactly as it should. And if I show you some of the performance metrics, like, you're not supposed to use it on 4G. That's not the optimum. The optimum is gigabit connection direct to your router. But I'm finding that it seems to work on like as little as 7 megabit per second, meaning that as long as I've got signal, I don't even need a wired connection. 5 gigahertz is not necessary, and I find that like it's enough to have a functioning desktop. Hi, I'm TechDave. Functioning desktop anywhere I might want to have one. And this could also be applied to this laptop here as well, or the X1 Carbon just up there. I find that Shadow, they recommend 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi or gigabit Ethernet for best performance. But honestly, like, if I didn't know it was slow, I wouldn't have any issues with it at all. So this is one alternative to having an eGPU, that if you can afford that £30 a month, it's actually awesome. That's Enshrouded's little warning label. Oh, I think my partner's just returned, so I should be back in a minute. So, as you can see, so we're still on 4G, we've still got 4 bars, and I'm just going to show you some video editing performance, and yeah, we'll get that downloaded quickly. Minimize that. Okay, minimize. And as you can see, the input latency is very minimal. I don't know if I can show you my hand. The actual, it functions, like in DaVinci, it functions perfectly well. And the timeline performance is fairly on point. And look, you can scroll with the thumb wheel, gangster. This pleases me enormously. This is why I got the MX Master. It's just like, for that one feature alone, really. And as you can see, timeline performance is about what you'd expect. This is my last video that I made on this Shadow account, that's why it's there. Hi, my name's TechDave, and today I'm going to discuss why I bought the Lenovo ThinkPad. So, I mean, that alone is worth noting that that's on a 4G connection. So then if we add, it'll probably crash out now, but it'll keep the thing open. If we go back to the Wi-Fi, wait for it to connect, turn away quickly. Yeah, it crashed out when you change connections, but that's to be expected. What was that notification I just got? And then reconnect to Shadow. And then, so when you're on a 5G wireless connection, or 5G on your phone actually. So on my phone I've got 5G, and then I need as little as sort of 50 megabit per second, which is quite viable for 5G, for a really high quality gaming connection as well. So you can game on it, you can edit on it, you can do all sorts of things. I think I made my point. So this is one of my workflows, which is just on the desk. Probably don't even need an external mouse. If I'm gaming, I'll use a PS4 controller via Bluetooth, and it passes that through to the Shadow really nicely. So I am very happy with Shadow service. I've been using it for a couple of months now, and I'm just saying there's an alternative there before we move into eGPU in the future, because in the later part of the video we're going to discuss my actual workflow. And as you can see, X1 Carbon 4th Gen in 2024. Playback is flawless at 720p on the timeline, and then rendered at 4K. In fact, this is at 4K if memory serves. It's completely viable editing rig for on the go, basically, as long as you've got a decent internet connection, which, to be honest, doesn't even have to be that good. They just recommend a better one. You've got really high quality video reproduction on your T480 without the need for an integrated graphics card. Now that to me is a game changer. That's like, integrated graphics cease to be an issue, and in this modern connected world everyone's got that kind of internet connection anyway. So now we're going to look at probably my aesthetic desk setup and then my eGPU setup, so I'll dive back in with that. Further point before we move on, I use OneDrive subscription service. You get 1 terabyte of cloud storage. I also use Google Drive up to 2 terabytes of storage, and then Shadow Drive includes a 20 gig cloud storage with your Shadow subscription. Combination of all these things allows me to, because I film on my phone, which is how you're watching this, and it allows me to, for example, with OneNote, I set it to auto sync certain folders, including my SD card in the phone, which is a 128 gig SD card, and auto sync all my media that gets recorded on the laptop. That means that on Shadow, for example, I'm signed into OneNote, therefore I can go to my camera roll and all my footage that you've seen filmed here will be synced via OneDrive automatically and then available on my Shadow account, on my T480 for review, via my eGPU with this desktop setup. So cloud storage, I know people are cynical about it, I know what people think of it, but in this particular case, because it stays on the device so I can transfer it directly, stored in the cloud, via OneDrive, and then I've just got instant access to it anywhere, and that's actually enormously useful because, for example, Shadow's download speeds are extremely high, like full gigabit download, I believe. So I can just sync OneDrive on the Shadow account or on my laptop or whatever I want to do and have full instant access to all the footage immediately as I filmed it, meaning that workflow I just presented to you, which is like the T480, for example, has a 6-cell battery, which, including the 3-cell battery I've got for it, means I've got about 16 to 18 hours battery life in total. And if I could get an additional extended battery, that would go up to somewhere in the region of 24 hours. So if you can't get your editing done in 24 hours on a 4G connection via Shadow, then charge up in your hotel or whatever. But it's interesting because you've got a consistent workflow across multiple setups, and then as I'm about to show you, you can come home, dock to your eGPU, which in my case the RX 6608GB in the Lenovo Legion Boost Station Thunderbolt 3 eGPU, and then you've got a full desktop setup. So let me show you a bit more about that. So here we have the finished space. Obviously cable management is not great, but eventually they'll be mounted under the desk. So where do we begin? We've got LED strip lighting all around, all the angles, including red and white. We've got red at the back there. We've got my Yamaha beastly amp with a couple of cables. But the T480 is just a one cable solution so that I can just drop it in and out of there, power up the eGPU. So we've got a Thunderbolt 4 cable going to the Lenovo Legion Boost Station with the RX 6608GB. We've got on top, we've got this lush Magigi mechanical keyboard. We've got some lo-fi on in the background. I'm using that for copyright reasons. We've got the Intuos Pen and Touch Small, which has seen better days, but it's very functional. It works as both a touchpad and a pen input. See the pen just there. We've got the Logitech MX Master 2S, which I've featured already. We've got a PlayStation 4 controller with red LEDs. Set up through Steam. I've got the OneLink Ultra Dock, or the OneLink Plus Ultra Dock, connected to my stereo system, which is these beautiful retro Philips speakers attached to the Yamaha power amp. And we've got another one there. We've got the Logitech Pro X wireless headset, which is currently plugged in just behind there, charging up with the microphone. And yeah, so this is work setup 1. So this is when I'm gaming or watching content. I have the mouse and keyboard tray just about here, and then I keep the surface free. We've got backlighting on here, which can make it a bit darker. Let's zoom out a bit. So we've got dark backlighting. We've also got a bit of greenery in here, fake greenery, and then we've got some real greenery here, which is this lovely little planet. Can't remember what it is. Put me in the comments if you know what it is. Then we've got our top lighting off there as well. And if we close this curtain and then come over here, and I'll show you how I actually set it up for maximum chill. So we close all the curtains. We put the living room lights on red. Then we kill this lamp, this overhead light, and this lamp here. This was blacked out, so it was even nicer, but this is chill mode. Basically, you see we've got the LED strip lighting to go down just... Oh, that's started flashing. That's not normally meant to flash, but just imagine it's not flashing. I can set that, change that in a minute. I just can't be asked to break the take. And we've got LED underlighting, so that lights up the touchpad really nicely. And then I can just chill and watch content in this sort of setup. Then when I'm writing, I pull the McGee 75% mechanical keyboard, which Reddit absolutely loved, by the way. Loads of people were asking about that, and this gorgeous mouse mat. So this was on Amazon, 37 quid. This was a tenner on Amazon. I won't tell you how much that was. But I moved this up here to make this kind of setup with the backlighting for sort of productivity or typing or writing stuff up. And then when I'm gaming, it goes back down here. And the controller's here, and I can just sit back and chillax. Obviously the mouse wouldn't be there either. Because I like to play games with controllers mostly, because I'm feeble and weak and inhuman. No. I just prefer a controller for most games if there's the option to do it. Then we turn off this, and then what we'll do here, got my pucker pad, calligraphy pens, don't know if there's anything on the page, no there isn't, yeah. And then I've got a downlighting thing there, because what I tend to do is, yeah, which is really nice, and then you can put the backlighting on there as well, which gives this lovely sort of multi-textured, multi-tonal lighting options. There's normally a cup of coffee there in a matte black mug, which is somewhere. Anyway, whatever. This is an IKEA little what is it called? Not an ashtray, saucer. This is my energy bills. There's a controller up there, one link dock with the Logitech dongle. Well, it does work via Bluetooth. And yeah, so this I might use for drawing, writing, doing some sort of ice melt proof, very mature. But yeah, I've got a big journal which I'm not going to feature, which sits over here. And I've got basically a bunch of pens. I've got Sharpie collection, pencil sets for sketching, mathematic instruments, proper calligraphy pens, which I need to buy new ink for, and then in there I've got all my journals, which is quite a few. And the journal might come over with the pens and the Sharpies for when I'm doing over here to replicate the features of OneNote or Notion. So there'll be Notion featured in the next video, because I've started using Notion a fair bit. I use their calendar and their note-taking app, and that's helped me be a bit more productive. There's my bag for my everyday carry video, which is part of this setup actually. And then this needs a lampshade. That's the only thing, because it provides some nice, when you're not looking at it, it's fine, but in you see that lens flare that sort of is in your eyes. But this is the basically aesthetic desktop setup. So now we're going to move on to some basic eGPU functionality. So the Legion contains a graphics card slot, 500 watt power supply. I've got a 2 terabyte 3.5 inch hard drive in there. And at the back, you've got the Thunderbolt connection. I've got my mouse and keyboard plugged in there, which I don't think you can quite see. Let's see if I can get down there. Mouse, keyboard, one link dock, USB connection, video cable, and the kettle lead for it. And that means that I've got a one cable solution. So it's literally just plug it in, power on the laptop, and you're ready to go without plugging in any other peripherals. So that means that the laptop can be quickly switched to an on-the-go workflow, which is really nice. Now, the other factor that's really useful, as I mentioned before about OneDrive, so as you can see here, this is so far everything you've seen already, synced from my phone automatically. And then there's the thumbnail for the video that you should see as well. And then we can just right click and always keep on this device. And then in a matter of, I don't know, it depends how long it takes OneDrive to sync really. But they will auto download to the computer, meaning I can just edit immediately the footage that I filmed on the go directly on my desktop. The other alternative options, I've got a DSLR up there. This has got an SDXC card reader, so I can bang the files directly off there into there, sync that folder automatically in Google Drive and OneDrive, meaning that they're fully available to my Shadow, my T480 and my eGPU with T480 combo. And it performs so well. Like, and eGPUs get a bad rap because the technology is not perfect yet. You know, we're on Thunderbolt 4 now, and it's coming up to Thunderbolt 5, and Oculink. Also, Oculink's going to be an absolute game changer because it's a different connector, but there's so much more PCI bandwidth and so many more lanes that basically eGPUs will be the future. And I want you to like, subscribe, share the video with anyone that might find it useful if you want to know more about my opinions on the future of computing, because I believe eGPUs will be involved, and also smartphones or laptops or Chromebooks with attachable stuff. But I won't say any more on that because I haven't finished it. It's going to be quite a long video essay. But yeah, that's basically the aesthetic setup. I was contemplating showing gaming and all this other stuff, but I've done that. So I want you to look in the cards up here, right there, for my full review of this setup with the eGPU and its performance and things like that. And then I'm just going to whip back around to the camera and I'm going to do some conclusions. So basically this video is just to celebrate 1,000 subscribers, show my optimized workflow, just get in the habit of making videos again, because I had quite a long gap and a couple of videos drop out that weren't doing particularly well. So as you can see, this is Lush as a workflow. Now, if you watch this video and you want, it's just wet your whistle and you want to know more, please let me know in the comments, because I intend to make a full why I use eGPUs in 2024 video. So if you like this, let me know. The full, detailed, updated, full review of eGPUs will be in that video. So please let me know if that's something you want to see. I emphasize, please like and subscribe, share the video, you might find it interesting. Sorry I've been out of the game for a bit, schizophrenic, brain, etc. I will be back probably with the next video, which will be about the X230. So thank you for watching. I'm TechDave. Get me in the comments of anything you might want to know more about, and thank you all of you who subscribed, and any new fellows and females and ladies and non-binaries and all in between that may want to join part of my community and follow and like and subscribe as well. If you want a direct response, and I'm not quite responsive on YouTube, go to either at Google at TechDave YouTube on X, or go to X drbradley46. So thank you for watching. I've been TechDave again. Peace.